The laughter hit me like a slap. Not the good kind, the warm, infectious kind that makes your chest glow, but the cruel, sharp-edged kind that slices through dignity. Bro, seriously, you're dating her? One of his friends choked between snickers, barely disguising his smirk. And then he said it. She's fine, if you're into charity work. Everyone laughed. Even him. My boyfriend. The man who once said I was the most beautiful person he'd ever met. It happened under the dim golden lights of Osteria di Luca, the restaurant I'd been excited to try for weeks. The air smelled of truffle butter and deceit. My wine glass trembled slightly in my hand as I forced a smile, praying it was all a joke. But it wasn't. He leaned back in his chair, eyes glinting with a smugness I didn't recognize. Don't take it personally, babe. I'm just being real. You've let yourself go a little. That word, babe, landed differently now, drenched in mockery. I felt my throat tighten as the world blurred into streaks of candlelight and murmurs. The laughter continued, distant and cruel, until the sound became white noise. I wasn't even sure if I was breathing. Then, with one final, rehearsed smirk, he stood up. Anyway, this isn't really working out. You know that, right? I blinked, my mind spinning. Wait, what? He tossed his napkin on the table like it was an ending note. Yeah. You're just not the vibe anymore. Sorry. And just like that, he walked out, leaving me there, under the soft jazz music, surrounded by strangers pretending not to stare. I didn't cry right away. I sat there, paralyzed, staring at the untouched pasta. The scent of garlic and basil turned sour in my stomach. I wanted to scream, to chase him, to demand an explanation. But what would I even say? Why did you humiliate me? The waitress came by, hesitated when she saw my expression, and softly asked if I wanted the check. Her pity was the final crack in my composure. By the time I made it to my car, the tears finally came, silent and uncontrollable. My reflection in the windshield was barely recognizable, smudged mascara and trembling lips. I drove aimlessly for an hour before ending up at the beach, the same place he'd once told me he loved me. The night air was sharp, tasting of salt and betrayal. And as I sat there, staring at the dark waves, pieces of the past few weeks started clicking into place. The sudden phone calls he'd take in the hallway. The new cologne I didn't buy him. The gym sessions that lasted suspiciously long. I wanted to believe he was just busy. Stressed. Distant but faithful. I chose not to see it. Until tonight, when he didn't just leave me, he performed my humiliation. 2 days passed. No apology. No message. His Instagram, however, told a different story. There he was, laughing, arm around a girl with perfect curls and a dress I couldn't afford. The caption, "Real connection hits different." Real connection. My chest tightened. Her name was Lila. I'd seen her before, once, at his office party. She'd complimented my earrings, smiled too brightly, touched his arm a second too long. I had told myself I was overthinking. Now I saw it clearly. I was the warm-up act. That night, I went to the same restaurant. Alone again, but this time with purpose. I wore the red dress he once said was too much. My makeup was flawless, armor painted on in soft strokes. Every step felt heavy but deliberate, like walking toward a truth I could no longer avoid. They were there. At the same table. I saw his hand on hers, the way he leaned in close, the way he smiled, the same rehearsed smirk that had once been mine. He didn't see me at first. But Lila did. Her face froze mid-laugh, eyes flickering with something, fear or guilt or recognition. Then he turned. Rachel. I tilted my head slightly, smiling. Hi, Jason. His confidence faltered for the first time. What are you doing here? I was craving closure, I said evenly. Figured I'd find it where everything fell apart. Lila shifted uncomfortably. Maybe we should. No, I interrupted, my voice low but steady. Stay. You should both hear this. I reached into my bag and pulled out his watch, the one he'd left at my apartment. You left this behind. Thought you might want it back. He opened his mouth, but I wasn't done. Oh, And Jason? I continued. You might want to check your messages. I sent you a little something. His phone buzzed. He looked down. Confusion twisted into panic. Because the messages weren't from me, they were his. The ones he'd sent to Lila. Screenshot. Time-stamped. Attached to an email addressed to his boss, who happened to be her husband. The color drained from his face. Rachel, what did you? I just told the truth, I said quietly. You both did the lying. Lila gasped, grabbing her purse and bolting for the exit. Jason stood frozen, face pale, lips trembling. For once, he had nothing clever to say. Outside, the night felt different. Lighter. The same air that had carried my tears now carried my relief. I walked to my car slowly, the sound of my heels against the pavement echoing like punctuation marks, final, deliberate, freeing. I didn't look back. Not once. As I drove away, I realized the betrayal had already been complete long before the restaurant, long before the laughter. The real betrayal wasn't his cheating, it was the moment I began to believe I deserved less. And that belief ended tonight. Final line. In the rearview mirror, his restaurant blurred into a shimmer of light and memory, distant, fading, irrelevant, while the road ahead stretched wide and open, waiting for the woman who finally remembered her worth.